Let's make some is the IOD. These are the tapers. There are so many things that you could do with these, and a lot of people have overlooked them. What's great is you have this vintage Santa Claus. This one is a snowflake. You have the North Star, and right here you have the snowman. These make beautiful tapers. You can place these inside of vases along with your decorations. You can even take these and use them as an ornament. They look rather long, but they are beautiful. Right here is a photo on the back of them. But another idea I had was you could do the clay just in the snowman or the Santa, the snowflake, and the star, and just take that part out, because these are so detailed and impressioned. You could literally just put your clay in that area and let that mold, and just use that one little piece and use it as pieces to go on other things. Now I do have the IOD air dry clay, and so I'm going to use this because, well, it needs to be used. And it's not quite a pound. It's 14.1 ounces. This is a little more expensive, but I tell you, this is really quality clay to work with. If you ever use it, you'll see and understand. You'll need some cornstarch and just a little brush, and that's just to put inside the mold, so it makes putting the clay in there real easy, and it glides it out real easy too. So I'm going to open these up and we're going to get started. So let me talk to you about these molds. I am not a dealer. I am a purchaser. But just to tell you the quality of these molds, one, they're silicone, and they are all food grade safe. So you can use these in cooking and all kinds of chef decorating or anything that you may do amateurly or professionally. They have a marking that helps with the casting, and they have measurement marks as well, so that you know how much weight or volume of clay you need. They also stack and sort well. They have the edging labels. For example, if you pulled this out and you didn't have its packaging, which I recommend you keep, you would be able to see that it is the bibelots. It's right there, IOD bibelots. And then right here is the measurements and the gauging that they tell you about. This clearly marked on the mold itself, so you can see that. And I'm telling you, you're talking about detailed. If you've never seen these in action, you're going to be blown away. It's super impressive. The molds are just as detailed and accurate, very laser edge cut. They have the rolled edges, so it's really easy to make sure that you only put clay in the actual mold area and not outside of it, and that way you get a clean, straight out, almost laser cut looking perfect shape out of your molds. They are very durable. You can wash them with mild soap and water. They clean up really fast and easy. They're compatible with most casting mediums. So if you're using, for example, the hot glue melt, if you are using plaster of Paris, different things that you can use with them. And they are BPA free. They have lots of connections, and there's so many ways that you can watch these in action. They have all their social media connections, and they do a lot of tutorials and so forth. And of course, here is the QR code for that mold. They are expensive, but they are an investment. This type of mold is an investment, and it is something that will carry its value. A lot of times when they create a mold, they only create it that year, and there's never a duplication on holiday seasonals. They have some that stay in their line for a while, but most of the time they're one-of-a-kind type molds. So if you miss out on it, you may actually be able to find this somewhere else that maybe someone is selling. They keep their value is what I'm trying to say. And those are just some things I just wanted to cover. Same with these on the tapers. The details on them are just incredible. And here's an example on the back. So when you purchase these molds, you can see what you may end up having to pay for that mold, and look at it as an investment. And if you don't want it I assure you there is somebody out there who'll be willing to take that item off your hands with no problem. The resale value on these really stays high, and if anything, it increases. I've not ever seen it decrease. It always increases. So just bear in mind when you buy an IOD mold, or if you buy one of the redesign molds, they keep their value, and just be particular and selective in when you purchase one, if it is something you feel like you would get more than one use out of, or if you might have a resource area to where you can resell it once you're finished with it. It is really not hard. And if you happen to have IOD molds, contact me. I'm sure that me and you can work something out, because I love them. And until you've used something quality, you really appreciate it. And a lot of people do not let go of their molds easily at all. They've made a decision to let go of it, and they keep them because they will gain in value. I've not ever seen one lose value. And like I said, when they issue stuff like this one is still available. But once they quit making that, these molds will be hard to find and locate, as well as these right here, the tapers. I'm surprised that these didn't sell out quicker than what they have. A lot of people have not been quick to jump on these because no one knows how to use them and hasn't featured them. And they really truly can be used as an ornament, a taper, or you can use these and place them on, say, a wood spool or anything like a plaque or something. And you could easily make this mold, make two of them and glue them together so that the back and the front are identical and they would be almost round. So some things you want to bear in mind before you start with any of your casting into your molds is maybe have a surface to where you can, when you pull these out, because once you put them in there, they've made their design, and you want to roll them out and put them on a surface where they will dry. And the air dry clay dries really fast. So once you open this package, if you're not going to use all of it, make sure you seal it in something that is airtight. And if you want to, take a paper towel that is moistened with water, wring it out, and place it into that package and seal it up tightly, because this will dry out really, really fast. And that's why I said, you know, once you open it, if you're not going to be using it, make sure it is not exposed to air. Put it in the container immediately. I actually keep my Tupperware container that I put mine in, and since this package will end up being open, I'll probably still put it in a baggie inside this Tupperware container, so as long as it's airtight and nothing can get to it, because it will dry out quickly. I'm probably going to end up using all of this, or at least most of it, and I've got them all three laid out here because, well, it doesn't take a lot to make these, and that clay goes in there really smooth. Now, when I open mine, I try to open it with care instead of just ripping that thing open. But a lot of times you can't finesse it open, so you end up having to get a clear, you know, get you a plastic baggie to put it in. But the main thing is get out what you need and close it up really quick and just put it in a container or plastic baggie to make sure that, you know, no air gets to it, because it will only take a short period of time and it dries. So what you'll do is, I've got that open, but you'll just take a little bit of your cornstarch, and you can use a brush. You don't need a ton of this. And you're just going to brush it over your mold, just a very slight amount, a light dusting. You don't want to be heavy-handed on it. You just want to brush it on there. And that just helps the clay to come out easier whenever you go to roll it out. And a lot of times when you've used these, you don't even have to really dust them that much. But trust me, the cornstarch does make a difference. I've tried it both ways, and I've just found that, you know, the cornstarch is the ticket. Now, their air dry clay is premium quality. It's soft, it's gentle, and easy to mash and use, and you're not overworking your hands, and it's really easy to work it. So you just get out of the package and knead it just a little bit, and you can go ahead and start putting it in the mold. When you need to go off the side, it just picks up real easy, just like you saw me do there. Just rub it with your thumb and roll it to the side, and you can press it in there and just do it as you need to. And see, you can just really easily roll it off. It's just soft quality clay that you're working with. And it comes out so detailed. I'll pull this out in just a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and press this into the other one so you're not hearing me making all this huffing and puffing sound. Make sure my mold is full. I don't want any less of it. I want it to be smooth and flat. So with that amount of clay, 14 ounces, I was able to fill this mold, get the 2 tapers that I wanted, and I did all of these snowflakes. Now before I do that, I always have me something that's a flat surface that I can put them on so they can sit and dry to expect out of these, because they're big and handsomely large. Look at that. Because he's curling around from the weight of the clay. So I'll definitely have to lay him straight, but look at that. And so really you could use just the snowman, and you could take the rest of the foliage off if you wanted to. He is gorgeous. And like I said, while these clays are moist, you could definitely put them on things. Oh, look at this. This is amazing. Quite amazing. Look at his face. And I mean, you can see every single detail of that. Look at that. All those flowers and holly that's in this. Absolutely gorgeous. So that's what you can expect from these IOD molds. Very detailed. There's so much you can do with these. You can definitely work them while they're moist like this, which is what I really need to do if I'm going to leave them flat, or if I'm going to mold them to something. Now would be the time. I have my spindles, and I've got these short ones, and I also had these long ones. And this is the idea that I had come up with, was taking the tapers of the snowman and the Santa Claus and putting them on these spindles. And I've got the shorter ones, which are the exact size of that taper. But I also thought that the long ones might be the better choice, because then if I wanted to stick these in a bucket or in a tree, you know, beside the tree, and decorate with them, there would be enough length there that they could see the entire taper. So I'm going to try these longer ones out and see what happens with that. And then that way I can decorate them. And these just have that old aged look, you know, they're old chair leg spindles. I'm super excited about them. And like this one, you know, it's got like rubbed off and chipped and everything, and it's just gorgeous like that. See how that goes. I think it'll look great. And see, like this is dark on one side and light and chipped on the other. I'm going to get it situated here and put the tight bond on there and get it smoothed out, and then that way I can put it directly on that spindle and let it attach. And when you put your tight bond on, just smooth it out. And I'll be sure to put an affiliate link down below for the tight bond. You can find it on my Amazon. That's where I bought it. It'll last a long time. I mean, I'm still using the same bottle, because if you do what I'm doing and smooth it out, it just takes a minute amount, because it is thick and it does such a great job. This is what all of the crafters that work with the clay and do stuff like what I'm doing here, that's their go-to. That's what they really depend on, and they trust that tight bond. And it is designed for crafters and for doing applications like this, where you've got the weight of that clay, which it's not very heavy. It's air dry clay, but it's still got weight to it. And make sure that you got it good and coated. And any of those cracked places are going to be just a past thought. You won't even remember them. Okay, now I can put this Santa to my wood spindle. And I'm going to put it closer to the top up here. I want to make sure that, and the tight bond dries clear. So if you did happen to get any overage, it's no big thing. And while that's wet, it's very pliable, and just mold it around there very gently, because not all the parts are going to bend as easy, and I don't want to disfigure him or the mold. I just want to get it around there and just let it wrap itself and just gently work it until I get it positioned on there. And it'll look like it was part of this piece all along. I think it's going to be one of the prettiest things I've made this year. And see, I've just simply molded it around that as gently and easy does it. Isn't that looking cool? That is just looking so neat. Make sure his little ball on his cap is around there perfectly. So what do you think so far? Let me know in the comment box what you think of the tapered being put onto a spindle. And then, like I said, we'll be decorating them. And see, it's good and on there. I just need to get that a little bit closer on the back. Make sure it wraps real good around that. Just be ever so gentle and take your time when you do that so you don't mess him up. Now, I'll just let him sit and rest and adhere to that spindle, and then I'll be able to decorate it and color it up any way that I want to. And I think you'll enjoy learning about that too. Now, here's an example of what could possibly happen when you're doing this. Like on this one, where I didn't have enough clay, it actually let go right there, broke loose the little tapered tip. And basically all you have to do is when you get your tight bond on there, you know, just make sure that you put a little bit there on the edge and it'll stick back to itself. And you can easily just put it right back to itself and it'll just fit right in there just like perfect, like a glove. Like you would never even know it. Really, truly, like magnetically almost. It'll just fasten right to where it came out of. It's just a perfect fit. And so that way, and you can see how gorgeous these are turning out. Now I want to share something with you that I haven't shown on my channel before. We did these spindles and I placed the tapers on it. And what you're seeing here are some of what we call the gilders paste, and also known as a wax. You can also use like art alchemy, and it's also a coloring wax. These can give a matte finish and these beautiful colors, and they will catch on all the detail. In this particular clay that I did, this taper, you can see as I've colored the hollies and the leaves, and you can detail the flowers that are in there, the poinsettias. There's scrolls, and this just naturally broke. Whenever it dried, the clay drew up and it crackled and broke, and that just looks even more nostalgic and authentic, really antiquish looking. And the details of this icicle type beard, and then you see his beard flowing. I also did his cap, and in this particular color, this one is called Coral Red, and this is one of the gilders paste wax. Now gilders, you can find gilders a lot of times on like Amazon. I'll be sure to leave an affiliate link. And there's also individuals who are dealers that do these IOD clay molds and stamps, and they also carry the paste. These wax pastes are beautiful, and they really truly do the most versatile colorizing paste wax, because it conditions your item and it will give them a good solid finish. It will not ever come off once it dries. And it's just beautiful. It's easy to rub on. You can use your fingers. You can use a towel, cotton ball. You could use, most of the time, a brush or a sponge, things like that to apply it. So they just really, truly cast these beautiful, beautiful colors and definition. Lots of textured edges will catch these colors. This one right here is called Verdigris. That is one of the more popular colors, and you can see I've already opened this, and they come in these really nice hanging pouches, so if you want to keep it in there, and then you'll get like 3 of the sticks with the gilders. Now with the Art Alchemy, these are in a tube and really nice, keeps them for a long, long time. I love these gilders because they come in these little turn-off tins, and of course you can always reuse the tin for something else once you use it up. These will last for many, many years. They are truly a good investment for any crafter, and you will use them on tons of application. These clay tapers, as well as these snowflakes, they're beautiful, and I'm showing you here how it will just catch the details. I have many, many colors. I usually will catch them on sale by a dealer, and then I will just buy up the colors that I have been desiring or wanting, depending on what you are applying it to, whether it's metal or whether it's wood, paper, different things, ceramics, glass. It's sky's the limit when it goes to applying this. Now this one is in white. These pastes are really good for finishes if you're wanting to distress or if you're wanting detail to show up. Here's an example. Like this one is like the Oxford black, the iris blue colors will do. You'll get the idea. Like you would apply it, and then when you wipe a soft cloth across the top of this, the other stays deep in the crevices and in the background. So that one is either their black or their soot. This would probably be their roach. This you can see it's got white, and that is probably German silver. German silver has like a yellow casting. Here you have one of the violets along with their gold. And this just give you an idea of their palette here. And here's all the different colors of the gilders paste. And they are truly that exciting. So see, like this silver, this gold, and different ones, they really look like the metal that they're naming them after, or the color. Like the mahogany really looks mahogany. And they'll have stained wood. There's all kinds of names. And like the black is really common with gilders, because if you want that depth into your clay pieces and you're doing this in a paint color, and say you painted it and then you want that deep blackening in the background, you could take the gilders paste and apply the black, and you would see that depth ratio right here. You'd see this depth in it. It leaves a finish that protects the piece for many, many years, whether it be clay, wood, glass, whichever you may be working on. So we're going to do a little work on this piece and see what we come up with, and just enjoy some of these pastes and let you see them in action. I'm just going to see how I fare. Now this may not work out like I have it in my mind. Working with these, it does take a period of training, and well, I am out of training. I have not gotten a thorough grounding on this in a very, very long time. So I am actually at this point just reaching in my memory bank as to things that I've seen done with them in order to recall the use of them. Now, they've been used by most of your designers and people who do customized furniture and pieces like that, as well as crafters. Because these do take an upfront investment, in purchasing them usually has to be done by mail order. Now, these come with a plastic shrink wrap around them, a band, so that it protects them and, of course, keeps your container closed. You see how well packaged they are. And then you would just turn this and open it up, and you see this beautiful paste. And like I said, it is just a smooth, every drop is usable, and it is truly a wax. Now this white may not show up very well on white, white on white. So what I will probably do is put a colored wax on this, and then I can follow it with the white to give it that depth ratio that we're looking for. And that depth really makes a difference. And you can see it just, it's really easy. This washes off. It's not difficult to remove. And then with this ouche, I haven't ever used any in a tube. I will tell you, this will be new for me. I imagine it pierces open. So let me go back to the packaging. When I opened this package, I decided to cut it down the side and pull this back and get this tube out. If you feel like you need to keep your packaging, that's another way to preserve it. You stick it back in there, use a stapler, and then that way you can hang them up if that makes storing them for you easier. You can also, of course, have the tube. Now let's go over this. I want you to bear this in mind. Some of these waxes can be used on light and dark. This particular one is designed to be used on dark or light surfaces. You can use all of these waxes in conjunction with other mediums. For example, if you painted something and you just want to use this for that depth, ratio, and detail. I have seen pieces done with nothing but the wax, which is what I am wanting to achieve here on this piece. But sometimes you, in order to get that depth ratio, to get that antiquing look, you may need to paint it and then go back and hit it with the waxes. Another thing that I was mentioning a while ago, and I'll go over it here, is you can use your fingers, sponges, dabbing brushes, and soft fabric. It's super easy to put on. And then it is going to be a full coverage and permanent finish. You can give it generous color or just a little bit as it states here. And this wax can turn your artwork into real treasures. So true. And it works on porous surfaces and elements. It says separation is natural, as with any products made with one smooth application may occur for a variety of reasons. So some applications you may get a heavier coverage, or it may alter in colors, I was telling you before. And this is not a defect. Many factors can cause separation in oil-based products. Simply take a palette, knife, or tool and mix the wax to recombine all of the ingredients. Once combined, your wax is ready for use once again and permanent water resistant. So I just wanted to go over the actual packaging, what it's stating, what it's telling you. With this one, when you get this tube out, if you're not familiar with using things that come in a tube, when you, if you look in the top of the cap, it has a point. Super easy, because all you do is unscrew it. It's going to have a membrane there. You want to take that point and just press, and now your package is open. And you can see down in there with the little point touching the wax. And then, of course, make sure you always, put your cap back onto your tube, and that just preserves your product. Press it down here in the as you can see, this one, it is jam-packed full. They're going to give you plenty of product. You may not think that's a lot, but you would not believe how many meters that will cover, or footage, whichever you prefer, but it will cover a lot. So a little goes a long way. Now you can take this straight out of the tube there, and you can see that is a lot more than what you would think that you would need. That is a lot. So I'm going to put the cap on it, and I may not even be able to use the brush. But my idea was to go right here where Santa's face is and apply that. And I mean, that is a lot of product that I just put there. And it's okay. I'm just going to let my fingers rub across anything that's there. Now I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to spread it out, because I have green in this brush already. So I do not know what we can expect out of this, what's going to happen. But I can tell you that it will soak in there real quick and sink in and give you a lot of detail. And when it dries, it's even more beautiful. So as you can see, you can really, truly, just a little dab goes a long way. And you can already see it just working that in. So I'm going to try to spread this out some more and see where it goes with me. And then if you do have a cloth, or at this young of a point, if you felt that you had too much in there, you could take a piece of fabric and buff that if you felt, or get you a towel. And so I'm just going to take and rub a towel across there. Now you see how that changed? That's what I'm telling you, is you are going to be just impressed with all that it can do. Now this brush, the Coral Red, and I also did the Vertigus with it, and that picked up even when I used that and just wiped off the difference with that towel, because it was already within the bristles of that brush. Look at the difference. Just amazing, just amazing. And so I love working with these waxes. They do some beautiful pieces, and you will just be amazed at the antiquing that you will get from it. So there's one example. So we've got his face really looking old with the red and the oche going in there. So so you could do the white and it would capture like the top part. And that's what makes this grand. So I'm going to work on this piece a little bit more. All right, now here is the ash gray. And you can see it has a blue-ish color to it. And I did just a small amount so I could spread it more. And just taking the brush and pulling the wax downward as I spread it. And you can see it just captures it really good and easy. It's just really goes on so smooth and easy. And that took just a tiny fraction on the edge that I had pushed out of the tube, and just to give you an idea how it's going there. Now if you really wanted those depth pieces there with the color, you can definitely accomplish that. As you can see, there's more coming out of that tube just from piercing it. That is a large amount on that brush, just to give you an idea. That's a lot. So, you know, maybe color added with it on there, and you can always wipe off anything that you don't want there. And I'm leaving that on the top, so you can take and like with paint and work it. Especially like if you were brushing this across a piece, you've got your cloth there. So if you wanted to just slide that down and take off any of the excess, so that anything that's left behind is clung to it. So you see how it gives it that really drawn out look, and it just catches in all the right spots. So I want that a little deeper on this side. I want more of that color in there. And you can also go back over it and let it dry just a little bit more before you wipe any excess off. Or you can leave it and just let it dry as it is and not massage it at all with your fabrics or a piece of cloth to buff it. Now I have this, so I'm going to just let it catch in that beard. And these are my tapers, so they will have this beautiful cascade of depth and all kinds of waxing in here. Like I said, I don't want to use any paint on this. I want to use all waxes just so I could show them off to you and let you see how much your imagination can flow with something like this, and how many things you can really do when you have these waxes, and just all the different things that you can come up with and dream up. And let's say you wanted this part to be deeper, you could go back over it with a different wax and see what you come up with. So this is just a few colors that we've used so far. We've only got 4 colors on here. All right, now this that I put on there, and I said let's wait a little bit longer before we buff it to see what we get now. And all I'm doing is rubbing that fabric on there. You don't have to do it hard. Look at that, just neat. And then if I wanted to go up here, because I don't want to take all the depth out there, I want to leave them deeper pieces that caught that in there a little deeper. Let it stay a little longer. So this is what we have so far. And you know, like I said, this might be a personal preference, but I know that I am really, really loving it. I don't want to waste any of it. They go for such a long way. I mean, just such a touch is all it takes. And like I said, if you don't take it off there, you'll leave that depth in there. And it almost has like a blue-green to this ash gray. I knew that I would love this color every time I've seen it. I've desired to have this ash color, so I decided that was going to be one of the colors that I purchased on my list, kind of your wax wish list. Now that right there, I'm going to quit rubbing on it because it will keep giving and put the lid on that tube. I do prefer them in the tin, like the gilders. The gilders, you know, that tin to me is my preference. The tube, you know, like this, you know, you put it on, it could be oozing out, and then you just barely mash it to get more. And then next thing you know, you got more than you wanted. And to me, I don't like to waste, and waste not, want not. Keep buying them because you wasted it when you can get so much more mileage out of it. I hope you guys can see that, how it has a blue, like a dark navy bluish gray color to it. And I'm going to see now about maybe I can take the residue that's on this brush, hit his cap, and then hit it with white or silver maybe. I might do the silver. So you can see just any residue that's left over from that brush is hitting that. And then I haven't done the scrolls, so let's see what we got there. Okay, this one I was going to open. This one is the old silver. Might do the old silver, but here's the white. So let's see. And I'm getting that dirty a little bit, but that on my brush. It doesn't take a lot, but you get the idea. So if I go back over his cap, I can get more of that white in there. And go down this side. I like the way that looks. Alright, so I've been working with my waxes, and I went out and I put the Osh here that we used here. I put that in the scrolls, and as you can see, it was a dirty brush, so it was blended with some of the ash gray. So it really truly gives it this nice depth, and you can see how it's getting that aged look. I also put the silver here along with the white, and you can kind of see this way that it's accent because some of the Osh is in there as well. Truly gives it that look. And then I just took a little bit that was on my finger and just rubbed on the little snowball on his cap and got that little bit of the Osh there. And I just love this look. And I know you guys may make fun of me of how I say that, and I know I say it wrong. I do it in the sense of there are others who speak like I do and who are hooked on phonics, and they go by the actual written letters. There's different ways to say it. You see the name, you see how it's spelled. And so you guys can kick at me if you want to. I'm used to it. I love it. I'm very hillbilly southern, very proud of it. Okay, so let's go to the next step. Remember, I have the white of the gilders, and I have this beautiful spindle with all of its pits and the paint coming off and the stain removed, and it just has this gorgeous look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the white on here, I believe, and see what happens. If it doesn't give me the look I want, then I'll follow with a different wax. Now, what I'm going to do differently here is, remember we were talking about you can use different applications. I'm going to take the rag, or cloth rather, and I'm going to get a little on there and just hit it. And all I'm doing is pretty much dimming down the wood. It's not going to change it, but it will make it kind of blend in with the taper that's on here and just give it part of that. Now you can make this as heavy or as light as you like. And if you don't like it, you can always go back and put a different color. But I really wanted to show off all the things that you can do with these waxes and how they can really best serve you. Let you be creative and come up with some ideas of your own by seeing them in action and determining if that's something you might enjoy. I don't want to disturb my red coral there. I love the way that turned out. I don't want to change it at all. So I'm being particular about the top there. I don't want to change that. That took care of the transfer of stain that I had a while ago. And that, as you can see, I'm just touching it. I'm not even rubbing into that paste. I'm just touching it and getting the wax transferred on there. It takes such a small amount to accomplish anything with the waxes. And it's almost like you can't mess it up. You're just going to be impressed. Now, if I give that a moment and then I go back with a clean spot, and let's say I don't want it that much depth, I can buff that and remove portions of it, and you still get this nice shine to it. I don't know if you guys can see that on the video or not, but you get a smoothness because the wax conditions the wood. And if you want to do more, you can. I'm very pleased with my spindle. I'm really, really pleased with it. I almost have thought about taking, like, anytime you got wood, you know, rubbing wood on wood smooths it, takes the roughness off of it. It's almost like a fine sanding. And anytime you got a rough edge like that one, and there you go, just back smooth again. Just wood on wood will buff itself. So here's my piece. Now, this is smooth as it is. It doesn't have any roughness. It does have that little bit of satin gloss to it from using the waxes on it, even on the spindle part. And if you want this deeper or more, just let that dry a little bit and you can hit it again. So that you can do different things with them. I know for me, this is beautiful like this. It's just gorgeous. And there's no need to put any kind of finish on it. The wax is the finish. So that's truly a done piece. It's already finished. There's not much else that you have to do to it unless you just wanted to add more to it, and you can. Right now, I love this red coral, how this coral red turned out. It's so pretty, and I think I'm going to just leave mine as it is. All right. Now, I hope you enjoyed using the waxes and seeing how they perform. Do get you the Gilders paste wax and different colors you can select. I'll be sure to put a link down below. You can also go straight to their website at www.gilderspaste.com and check those out. And then, but you can check out Art Alchemy as well. I have a link for these. I'll leave it in the description box as well. Remember the colors. This one is the orch, the gold color. The silver, which was, you know, just the basic old silver, and it was the Art Alchemy. We have the white, of course, that is in here, and that's the Gilders Paste White. We have the green, which was the Vertigus, and it's really good for your patining of colors. We have the coral red, and that makes this beautiful, beautiful color up here. Absolutely gorgeous. And then this one is the ash gray. Truly one of my favorites. Has a blue, navy blue, gray color. It's just gorgeous. And you can definitely enjoy all of these. I'll place them right here so you can see them again and be able to see their name. The old silver is down here at the bottom, and then of course the white. And this is just something that you can do too. And I know you enjoyed that. And I'm glad that you joined me in seeing this episode on some of the things you can do. And definitely get the tapers mold. And you can see there is more that can be done with that particular clay mold. So much more that can be done that no one else is doing or talked about. Put it on your spindles, make your tapers, and then use your wax colors only, or you can paint it and then follow it with wax colors too. So many different ideas and creative things you can do with this application. Until the next DIY, this is Elizabeth, and I'll be crafting y'all.